Hey y'all, hey, welcome and welcome back. For those of you who are new here, my name is Tiffany. I'm a therapist. For those of y'all who ain't new, like you already know I'm a therapist, okay? But girl, today we are here to talk about healthy eating. I'm not about to come at this from the typical mindset that most people have of this is healthy eating, this is what you should be eating, this is what you shouldn't be eating. We're not doing that, okay? There was this lady by the name of Zana the Art. I got my iPad here, you know how I do. I'm always going to be prepared. Zana was a woman who lived in a foreign country. It was one of those Asian countries, and she had a raw vegan diet. But hers was even more to the extreme of typical raw vegan diets, although those are already considered to be extreme. She only ate raw exotic fruits, sunflower seeds, sprouts, fruit smoothies, and juices for 5 years. That's it. And she died at the age of 39. There are some reports that say that she died due to her lifestyle, which resulted in starvation. And then there are some who are saying that she died due to an infection. I believe it was her mother who said that she died due to the infection. If you look at the pictures of that woman, she looked emaciated. And as black folks would say, she ain't had no meat on her bones. She ain't had no meat on her bones. So I am here to talk about the subtle differences between healthy eating and disordered eating. Let me get this straight. I am not talking about eating disorders today. I am not diagnosing anyone as having an eating disorder. I am here to talk about disordered eating or dysfunctional eating habits. Sometimes people's healthy eating habits are simply disordered eating because it's too extreme. So I'm going to give you all some examples, and the reason that I can talk about this isn't just because I'm a therapist and I have worked with people who had eating disorders years ago, but because I recognize my own prior disordered eating habits and some of my present day disordered eating thoughts that I have to this day, okay? One example that I would like to talk about is something that happened at work for me. One day, my colleague and I were sitting at a table, and he worked out, and he was like really into working out and fitness. Years ago, he was heftier, but now super fit and lean. So while we're sitting at the table, I come back with one of those little like Halloween sized Twizzlers. Those ones are the best type of Twizzlers. And I'm eating my Twizzler, and he says, "Oh, so you're just going to erase all of the healthy eating that you had today?" And I'm like, this little Twizzler? That's what I'm thinking in my head. The second piece of that is that sometimes people are so consumed with their own healthy eating that they then begin to project their own deprecation onto others. So for him and his mindset, it was, if I eat this, I'm going to erase all of my healthy eating, so I can't do that. But he projected his own personal thoughts onto me. And unfortunately, because some people don't recognize that pattern, it just continues over and over and over. So you have to be mindful of your own stuff and projecting that onto others. There is something, it's not an official diagnosis, that's called orthorexia. Orthorexia is when a person is obsessive over their healthy eating habits. So when you think about whether something is disordered, whether something is functional or dysfunctional, you want to consider it as being on a continuum. So you have a continuum of what's healthy, what's unhealthy, but you want to be somewhere in the middle because you want to have balance. So although a double chocolate German fudge cake isn't healthy for my body, it might be healthy for my emotional state if that is my favorite cake and I am having a birthday party. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not going to deny myself something special on a special occasion. Okay, now when it might become disordered, where I might binge, is if I say, oh, well, every day is a special day, so I'm gonna have me a piece of this chocolate cake every day. So you have to have some type of balance. Although it is important to check the nutrition labels on your food, if you are compulsively checking the nutrition labels and or denying yourself certain foods because you can't consume whatever is in that food, it might be disordered. Please use your common sense when I share this information, and don't say, well, I got high blood pressure, I have cholesterol, and blah, blah, blah. If you can't discern the difference between that situation and disordered eating, what I'm talking about, then that's a you problem, not a me problem, okay? I am simply sharing what could be compulsive. See, that's the thing about the internet. People like to argue, even when they know that the information that someone is presenting is factual. But girl, anyway, within our society is people will eliminate complete food groups. So they'll say, oh, I'm not eating bread. I can't eat white bread. I don't eat carbs. That's too many starches. No, I don't know how y'all do that. You got double carbs on your plate. You got mac and cheese and you got rice. If you completely eliminate a food group from your diet, not for health reasons because you have noticed changes within your body or the way that you feel, but simply because you deem it as bad, which is linked to fatphobia, which is linked to misogyny and patriarchy and racism, then that would be disordered eating. If you're not doing it for the health benefit, but you're doing it out of fear, then that is disorder. Are you tracking? So like, it's not, I do this because I really want to take care of my temple. It's, I do this because I'm scared. I do this because I'm scared and I don't want to look like that. And usually when you say I don't want to look like that, it's fatphobia. Okay? And I say this as a woman of privilege, a slim, light-skinned, pretty girl. I can recognize my privilege, and the world would do a lot better if people start recognizing their privilege and advocating for the people who don't have as many privileges as them. If you find yourself over-exercising, that is disordered. Remember, we're looking at a continuum. Yes, exercising is a good thing to incorporate into your life, but over-exercising is not. So if you find yourself exercising despite a painful injury, disordered, okay? Your body's telling you that you need to sit down and you continue to work out because you don't want to get fat. Again, fat phobia, right? You have to recognize what the root of things is in order to tackle your mindset, right? So it's not, I'm a grind, I'm disciplined, I'll go to the gym regardless of what's going on. No, it's rooted in disordered eating. If you find yourself continuing to go to the gym despite adversity, despite adverse consequences, despite other things in your life that should take precedent, it might be disordered eating. People who skip meals, girlies, I'm talking to you. If you say, oh, well, I'm gonna just drink this coffee because, it helps curb my appetite, because coffee is a stimulant and diet medications are typically stimulant drugs. Think about it. People who use cocaine or people who use crack, they don't eat right because of the stimulant and decreases your appetite. Coffee is a stimulant. So if you say, I'm just going to drink this coffee because then I'm not going to eat later, that's disordered. Or if you say, oh, I need to detox, so I'm just going to go on a fast because I ate so bad yesterday. Disordered. Your body will detox naturally via water, pooping, sweating. That's all you need to detox. This is the one that I will go up for every single time. Fitness watches is one of the worst things that probably could have happened to the disordered eating community. If you wear your watch all the time and you are overly consumed by getting your steps in, it might be disordered. If you find yourself pacing in your bedroom, you find yourself pacing in place by the copy machine at work because you got to get your step goal in, that might be disordered. And you know that it's disordered because you look crazy. If it's abnormal, it might be dysfunctional. It might be dysfunctional. If you forget to put your watch on when you go to the gym and in your mind you say, I forgot to wear my watch, it's like the workout doesn't even count, might be disordered. There are so many different things that happen in our life that we don't pay attention to, but if we actually slow down and constantly ask ourselves why to each question or statement that comes up in our head, you will recognize, that's probably problematic. When you find yourself at, let's say, a work event, right? And they got a full spread laid out. I'm talking like all like tasty foods. And you become like so angered, anxious, whatever, over the fact that healthy options aren't available, might be disordered eating, okay? So again, when we're thinking about disordered eating, we're not diagnosing someone as having an eating disorder because that is completely different. We are looking at the problematic relationship that someone has with food. Because as a human being, we are beings that just so happen to be human. We are living our lives in action. And the only way that we can live our life is by having relationships with other people and things. If your relationship with food becomes so entrenched in every single aspect of your life, then it's problematic. And you might want to look at that. You might want to start to journal. If you need to go to therapy, you might want to go to therapy, but it's something to consider. And again, I can share this with you because this is something that I had to endure myself. I didn't puke. I didn't take laxatives. I didn't starve myself. I didn't do anything like that. But the thoughts that I had and some of my other actions, they were disordered. So sometimes things will also get swept under the rug because you might be a Black woman going through these things. But we think that only white women, like this Zana lady that I was talking about, are the only people who have eating disorders. But it runs in our communities too. So that is all that I have for you all. I hope that I have shared something that encourages you to think a little bit more and consider your own habits. Until next time, bye.